All right, your last page in your packet is pivots. Now, you're going to do the same thing except on the corners. You're going to grab 2 pieces of scrap fabric, cut 2 squares. You're going to line them up. The only difference with this one is you're going to have to pin all on 3 of the 4 sides. So you're going to go through and pin it. So it's going to look like this. You're going to have 3, so 1, 2, 3 sides stitched or pinned. You're going to go ahead and go thread your machine and get that set up. On this one, you're going to be stitching a 5/8 seam allowance. So find your 5/8 on your slide plate, line up your fabric, put your presser foot down. You're going to stitch forward a couple stitches. Make sure your stitch length is at 1, or your LCD screen's at 1. Forward a couple, then you're going to hit your reverse button and go back. You're going to continue to stitch all the way to the corner, following your 5/8. Now, when you get to the corner, pivoting is an important task. You're going to use your up-down needle button. So over here, you have your up-down needle button. You're going to push it once. See how the fabric is still here? Your needle is in the fabric. You're going to lift the presser foot. You're going to turn your fabric. You're going to put the presser foot back down, and you're going to continue to stitch until you get to the next corner. Make sure you're putting your pins in your pin cushion. Then when you get to the corner, you're going to use your up-down button again. Push the button. Your needle is in your fabric. You're going to lift your presser foot up. You're going to turn your fabric. You're going to put your presser foot back down. And then you're going to continue to sew. When you get to the end, make sure you reverse. To do your locking stitches, make sure your needle is all the way in the up position. You're going to pull it off to the side. Use your thread cutter. You're going to trim all your threads. But before I do that, I want to show you. You can tell if you pivoted correctly because the stitch continues. Okay? If you were to not pivot right, your stitch would be at an angle. Okay? If it's not at an angle, then you've pivoted right. But if you've got a gap in your stitch, that means you've done it incorrectly, and you'll have to seam rip and start over. Then you're going to take your packet, okay, and read the directions. You're going to trim the bottom corners with a diagonal cut, and be careful not to cut through your stitches. So what you're doing is you're taking the corners, and you'll do this on the pillowcase or on the pillow. You're going to take your shears, which I don't have any handy right now. You're going to cut at an angle your fabric on all 4 corners. You have to make sure that you're not cutting the actual stitch, you're just cutting the corners. Okay, so the 2 corners, go ahead and cut your second corner. Make sure you use shears. Okay. This side's open, so there's no need to cut the corners. Okay. If you were to have gone inward here, we would have trimmed each of the corners. Trim your threads. Then you're going to attach your sample here with a pin through one paper. just like that. Make sure your name is on it with your hour, and you'll turn it into the front pink tray.